All right, for this video, I'm going to just be showing kind of the whole walkthrough process of using VRoid to MMD to Blender to Marvelous Designer and kind of how that workflow looks, or at least the way that I workflow it. All right, so you got your model in VRoid. Now you may be wondering why she's naked, and that's going to kind of make sense later. But what I usually do is from VRoid, I'll export two different models. I'll have one model that's set up like this with no clothes because I'm going to make those in Marvelous Designer, and with hair because I'm going to use that hair to export Alembic and then use that for the physics simulation later. And then I'll have another model that has no hair at all and is also nude. So then once I export the Alembic, I just copy it over to the new model with no hair. So that way, maybe this will just make sense. It'll make more sense as I'm going along, but I guess starting off, you'll need one model with hair and then the same model without hair, and both preferably no clothes since we're going to use Marvelous Designer for the clothes. And what you want to do is just export it. Export as VRM. Settings are usually good to go. Title it. Do everything you want. Export. Actually, I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to put tutorial. Save it. Usually to add like hair, just so I'll know which one is which. Go ahead and copy that link because we'll need it later. Save. And then it exports. And then after you've done that for a model with hair and a model without hair, and if you want to just do a quick, easy way, maybe I'll just go ahead and show that too. So you got the model, go to hairstyle. All right, so you can either select none over here, or you can select the hairstyle that she already has, and then click edit hairstyle, and then you can just kind of hide these. So then you have the information there in case you like accidentally save it. But you'll just go through each of the little categories and then just hide it, or either click none. And then you'll just do another export and call it whatever you want to call it, just so it's differently named than the other one. And since I already have one without hair, I'm just going to skip that part because this video is probably already going to be long enough. So this will help make it shorter. All right, once you export it, get out of VRoid. And then what you're going to want to go to next is VRM to PMX converter. I'll try to put links for all this stuff in the description, but some of it I downloaded a long time ago, so I may have to figure it out. But yeah, once this pop up, you just want to hit play. Load your VRM file, and then you just want to, if you copied the link earlier, you can just paste it in up top. Select your model, click open, and then convert to PMX, and just give it a second. All right, and then once that one's done, you can click load again, and then just load in your other one that has no hair, and just do the same process. And if you ever get stuck in this window, you can usually just click like Windows, and then I'll just open the taskbar, and then that'll allow you to exit out of it. All right, so then once you have both models exported from VRM, what you want to go to next is PMX editor. Once you're in PMX editor, click this secondary window, file, open. If you still have your link, you can paste that in again. Click your PMX export folder that it made, containing the exported models. It's like, select your model, click open. Sometimes things may come in looking a little weird in here. So if it does, try just re-exporting from PMX editor. And if that doesn't work, try again re-exporting from the VRoid. And sometimes it could just be the hair. So you may have to like redo the hair in VRoid and then try the re-exportation process all over again. So that's why it's good to kind of save these once you have it good, just because you don't want to like have to export it every time. Anyways, I have a add-on installed that helps like fix the bones in case anything is wrong. I'll try to refine the link and put that in the description as well. But what you want to do is you want to go to edit, plugin, user, semi-standard bone plugin, PMX. I think all of these should be good to go. Selected like this. If not, I'll double check. I haven't kind of done this in a while, so we're gonna hope it works. Click OK. And once that's done, you want to click File, Save As. And then you want to put like, I usually just do like underscore and then just put edit. So now I'll know it's already edited from the PMX editor so I don't get the files confused. And copy this link and select save. And you want to do the same thing again with your other model. So you just repeat the process. Close out of PMX editor. And then now we're going to go into MMD. There's a helicopter flying out. I'm going to close my window. Like. All right. And now we're in MMD. So now what you want to do is load in your model. Luna hair edit. Open the one that you exported from the PMX exporter. All right, and now you got your model in here, and you gotta start with the motion. So what you want to do for this part, usually I'll jump to about frame 30 before importing it. So that way it starts at T-pose and it's easier to match the clothes on it once it's in Marvelous Designer. So you select on frame 30, file, load motion, select this motion. All right, and this motion was made by Yuki Kumera. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it'll be linked in the description. Did an awesome job on this. This is one of my favorite motions, and I'm looking forward to editing to this thing. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna click the original. I've already cleaned it, but I'm just doing this for a tutorial. But sometimes the motions may not match the model completely. Select OK. And see, now it's in there, and you'll notice the 0 still got T-pose, and then 30 is the actual kind of starting point. Now this is kind of the tedious part, but essentially what I do is just slowly scrub through it and look for any part where like a finger or hand or something may end up going through the skin. So just frame by frame it. And it doesn't matter which model you use for this, whether it's your one with hair or not. But this motion's pretty good. It actually fits this model pretty well. You also want to watch out if it gets too like into the chest, because sometimes that'll make the clothes do funky things in simulation. All right, so see, you'll notice like the finger kind of like went through the model. So what I do is I find the exact kind of frame where it like jumps in, click select, and then just kind of figure out like which bone is best to edit to kind of like pull it away some. I'll admit I'm not as good at the motion part, but I kind of only have to know how to clean it up, and just so it just helps to just have basic knowledge of the program. And then just click register once you kind of got it out of the way. It may help a little bit to click select over here in the bottom left, just so you can see it a little bit better. Sometimes with the bones, you can't really see it like with all the circles highlighted. Maybe we should have used the one with no hair. It might have been a little bit easier to see. All right, and then you'll kind of just want to do that throughout the whole thing. And once it's done, I guess just jump back to the first frame. Go to edit. Well, I guess feel free to save it too. Just save it as like a project if you want to come back and work on it. But usually click edit, select all bones, select all facial, select all display, file. Where is it? Save motion data. And then you just kind of save what you want. And like I said, I've already cleaned it, so that's the file that I'm going to use now. And then you'll just export it. And then that's what we'll use in Blender later too. All right. And then once your motion is good, you can either do this now. I'm going to show it to you now, but sometimes usually I'll wait until after I've gotten the clothing exported from Marvelous Designer, just in case I have to come back and redo this process. But I have another plugin called MMD Bridge, and an add-on for that allows you to export the Alembic data. So once you have your motion done, you can like say that this was the bald model. You would just go file, start a new one, load model, select the one with hair, you can start at frame 0 this time because we're going to get the motion data from the updated file. Then just file, load motion data, clean. All right, and then see it still starts at frame 30. All right, and then now what you want to do is MMD Bridge, select this drop down. I'll see if I can load a link to the thing that helped me figure out how to install this. Or actually, before we go into that, you want to see how many frames there are in the whole video. This one has 935, so just to give it some leeway, I'll just do 950. So MMD Bridge, select this. And now in this drop down, you want to click the drop down arrow, select blender.py. In this drop down, you want to click this one that looks like there's a 3 at the end. Just like that. Type in your last frame here, 950 frames per second. Usually I'll leave it at 30. Click OK. And you'll see nothing happens because we got to click the magic button. So to do that, you click File, Render to AVI. I'll usually call it like delete or something, because usually this is going to be a huge file. Like it's like insanely big. So I'll just delete it, like the actual AVI that it exports along with the Alembic data. is gonna be huge. All right, but anyways, you'll click save. And then this frame will pop up. You'll click 0 and your frames. And then you'll click OK. And I'm gonna pause the recording for a second just to make sure everything's good. And it may take like a second or two to like load, so I just want to like not record that in case anything goes wrong. Oh yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention was that whenever you export the Alembic, it'll be hard. It'll be kind of hard to find. I remember this window kind of sucked to find, but what you want to do is you want to go to wherever you downloaded MMD into the MMD bridge folder. And then I think it makes a folder in there or something, but you want to look for a folder that says out. It's super confusing. I wish you luck in finding that. I don't remember how I found it. But you want to select everything in there, copy it, make a new folder, paste it all in here. And once it's pasted in, you want to delete it from this out folder, because if stuff is in the out folder, sometimes the overwrite doesn't work successfully. So you just want to kind of just keep this folder empty after every single Alembic export. And I just made a shortcut to it because I got tired of like trying to find it every time. So you may want to do that as well to save yourself some time and mental agony. All right, so now we're in Blender. I'm just gonna jump straight into the scene I've been working on, and I'll just import the model into here. So now what you'll do is, assuming that you already have the MMD tools add-on, there'll be a link probably also to install that. Again, I just don't want to make this video super long because it's already going to be a lot longer than you probably want to sit here and watch this for. So go to your drop down. Over here you have a little tab that should say MMD tools. Mine's kind of small because I have way too many add-ons activated. Just import model. All right, so the first model that you want to pull in is the one without hair. And we're going to do that because this is the one that we're going to be exporting the physics from and the body to export into Marvelous Designer. So once you have it selected, you want to go over here and make sure the scale is scale doesn't really matter, but I usually just put at 0.08. That's kind of close to actual scale. Make sure you select fix IK links. Import. All right, you'll see your models in there. Now usually let's just hide everything else. All right, now for this part, let's hide everything else. I'll usually leave it right at the origin point, because whenever you export into Marvelous Designer, it's gonna use whatever origin point that you have set in Blender. And if you leave it at 0 origin point, whenever you export again from Marvelous Designer, everything will be all nice and center, and you can just scale it down onto the model way easier. So yeah, once you have that, I'll load in the motion. So over here in the side panel, import motion. I also use bookmarks. Bookmarks are super helpful because I work on a lot of different types of projects, so sometimes my folders are hard to all remember. Make sure the scale is the same as whatever you imported in. All right, then once that's ready, wait, that started the right frame. All right, so yeah, T-pose, we're good. And just give it a little test play. And everything looks good. All right, so now assuming everything's good and you don't have to go edit it and redo that whole process again. Let's click this drop down. Let me remember how to do this. All right, so we're gonna need to export some jiggle physics, get some jiggle physics on this model. You can use the default ones that come with MMD, but I like to use a Springbone add-on, another thing that will be linked. I also have a tutorial on this already, so either check that out, because I'm gonna go through this pretty quick this time as I try to remember how to do it. All right, so select the model, or you gotta select the bone, pose mode, green bone here, select all 4 breastbones, spring rotation, start animation mode. And let's give it a test. All right, so once it looks okay, wait. Okay, so you may actually all right, so when you're selecting the 4 breastbones, make sure you select them one by one. And then start animation. Let's see, maybe this looks a little different. Okay, yeah, that's way better. Let's go back to 0. Select 1, 2, 3, 4. Click pose, animation, bake action. Okay, so visual keying, clearing constraints, overwrite action, and only selected bones. And then okay. All right, and then it should be good. Click stop. Play it just to make sure, check it. It's best to kind of check things at each step so you don't have to start all the way from the beginning. The earlier you can catch a mistake, the more time that you'll save. All right, that looks good. It's probably a good time to save it. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to click part of the skin. Oh, firstly, I guess you got to go back to object mode. Now select the skin. File, export, Alembic. Sometimes you can use these settings over here to make the file like a little bit smaller. But this is a pretty short animation, so I don't think I'll need to do it in this case. Maybe, and then you'll also click only selected objects so it doesn't export the whole scene. And then export Alembic. And let's hope this works. All right. So now we're in Marvelous Designer. And this is where things get super tedious. But I'm gonna try to walk you through this, so don't worry. So first, we start with the clothes to figure out what scale that's in. And this is gonna get super confusing because I'm using different pieces from a few different outfits. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I think it's Hannah uniform. All right, yeah, Hannah school uniform. I'm using this skirt. with this sweater or either this shirt. I haven't figured out yet. But let's just start with the skirt first. So Hannah school uniform. All right. Now that tedious part I mentioned, this is it. So you go file, import, Alembic, find your Blender file. And basically, you want to keep playing with this percentage until the import looks kind of close to the clothing in which you've imported. So let's just try a random number. It's actually pretty close. And what I'll do after this is I'll usually make a little notepad that just has different like notes on it, so I can remember what scale things are in case I end up having to redo this part later because something went weird with the Alembic and I gotta redo the whole pipeline process. This just makes it a little easier to remember. And then I'll do 52. So just a little reminder that it's imported in at that size. And then once that's good, you want to select everything. Where is it? Auto fitting. Click OK. Click OK. Wait, what? Okay. Actually, I did that wrong. So, before you can do the auto fitting, you gotta create a fitting suit. So, in this little window up here, there's looks like a guy with like rings around him. You want to click that and then click. Wait, what's happening? Create fitting suit. Now, what you do is you kind of just follow this instruction that's on the right here, and just draw a point from side to side in the location that it's showing. In yellow. And if you mess up, you can click escape. All right. And now, if you needed to redo any of these, you can just select it. Right click and then hit delete and you'll be able to redraw it. But for now, we'll just click apply. And the goal is to just have a red suit that covers the whole model. If the model's bustier, sometimes you might not be able to get it over. So usually it's still okay. So don't worry about it if a little bit's poking out. But just kind of hit like apply and just refreshing it helps sometimes. And then sometimes you may also have to like play with these rings to make them like bigger than it looks like you need to make them. And once that's done, you just want to save it. And then just exit out. All right. And now you notice your clothes have disappeared, so you got to add those back. You got to file, add, garment, select this uniform. Now I'll try to click this auto fitting icon in the top left of the right window. Just click OK. Sometimes you get weird errors. Sometimes you get multiple weird errors. Uh-oh. This might not actually work. Let's see. Actually, that looks okay. I think this is all we need, so I think we're good. All right, so I'm just gonna delete this top part. Actually, let's save it. And let's see if we can just add the other part. I think I want to go sweater. And let's see if auto fitting will work. Alright, so something obviously went weird here. Try to figure out what happened. So the sweater looks good, the skirt looks not right at all. Alright, so how about this? Select the skirt. Let's delete it. Let's select the sweater. Actually, I may not like this sweater. Let's delete that too. I might try the shirt instead. I actually don't mind this fit. But, so I don't look like I gave up on the other one. I'm gonna delete that. Select this top. Right click. Our file. Export. No. Save as. Garment. Let's call it just top. Just the top. Alright, so then let's go file. Open project. And let's reopen the one that has just a skirt only. And now what I'm hoping that we can do is file, add garment, just top. Okay. Boom. And that seems to work. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the top so I can make sure that this skirt doesn't fall down whenever we start doing the animation. So what I'm going to do is there's a tack up here on this panel, top left. Hover over it and then go down to tack on avatar. Actually, before we start tacking, I'm just going to save it again. Put a tag here. And I usually just kind of put them somewhere close. Something like that, just to make sure it doesn't fall down. I'll do it on shirts and stuff sometimes too if it needs it. It all just depends kind of what spots like might need the tack. Alright, and then go back to the selection tool. Select this all again. Show 3D pattern. I'm gonna see if I can. Can I shorten this? Yeah. I think that fits a little bit better. Click spacebar, see what the simulation does. You might have to pull it a little bit just to get the fit right. Alright, so once you have the clothes ready, yeah, you'll just make sure everything looks good. And then you'll get ready to begin the recording process. On simulation quality, I'll usually click I hope stable. I hope that's the one that I usually do. We'll see if this is gonna crash or not. Make sure frames per second are the same as your MMD model. I'm just gonna put this at 950. And then click. Well, first put on some music. Cross your fingers. And then click record as you hope for the best. And just watch it the whole time, because you want to be ready to pause it in case something clips or goes like weird. So you don't wait for the whole thing to simulate and then have to redo parts of it. Like you can see it's kind of going through the arm. I feel like I've never cleaned one perfectly yet, where it just goes through first try and everything's good. Boom. See, something went weird there. So now what we got to do is wind that back. If we're lucky, we'll be able to fix it in here. See, that's why you try to make sure that the parts don't rub too close to the skin, because that's what causes this to happen, and it is a pain. And you want to find the frame, space bar to simulate, and then with these blue points, you just kind of want to drag the clothing around it. But if you miss the wrong one, you gotta try again. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix that one before this frame. So hopefully you can kind of get it close. And then once it's back on the right track, you just select record again. Now that spot's probably gonna look weird if I showed the whole simulation, the whole model, but sometimes if I can't make it clean enough, I'll just have to change the camera angle in Blender just so you can't see it. But sometimes you don't want to do that depending on what the motion is, so in that case you would just go all the way back to MMD, clean the animation, go all the way through Blender again, and then try it again. But before doing that, I would recommend watching the whole animation, because if you're going to go and clean it, you want to make sure that you only have to do it like once. So if any other parts are weird that you would have to fix, you just want to make sure you get all of those before you go back into MMD. That was kind of a weird part. Maybe I'll just go ahead and fix that too, because why not? While it's doing this, you might also want to kind of pause it randomly and then just make like little save checkpoints. Alright, and it looks like it's done. Once it's done, you want to definitely try to hit File, Save As, New Project. Usually I'll retitle it different, because what'll happen sometimes is if the file, if it's too long and it's too big, it just won't save. So click Files, try to Save As, and then you want to check it, the actual file, like outside of the program, like in the file browser, to see if it has like a file size, because sometimes it'll just show 0 file size and you'll go back to edit it and you just won't have a file. So usually when it's done, and I've saved it, just play it back from the beginning. All right, so a couple parts are a little weird, but all in all, it's pretty clean. All right, so then what I do now is I'll hide, select all of the top, hide 3D pattern, select the bottom skirt, file, export, Alembic Ogawa, create a new folder just to keep everything clean. And I'll call this one skirt. Click OK. And then once the skirt is done, hide the skirt, select the top, show 3D pattern, select it, file, export, Ogawa, call it top, save. Okay. All right. And then we're going to hop back over to Blender. So that'll be this one. And I'll show you why it was helpful to keep it on this center point. So I'll make a new folder. Call this one like cloth. And then make a new folder that's outside of that. And I'll call this one Alembic. And that'll be for the hair. So first, I'll let's start with the clothing. Let's start with the hair first. Doesn't really matter though. So file, import, Alembic, and you want to go to wherever you just copied that Alembic information. I wonder if I type 0.08, let's see if it'll be the same scale. Perfect. It's the exact same scale. Now, it has the full body in here, not just the hair. So what you want to do is you want to hide your other model just by clicking the eye, and then hide everything except for the hair. And that looks like everything. And make sure you click the camera icons, gray those out as well. And I just call it hair. Unhide the body back. Now you want to click play because sometimes the frames may be out of sync. Yeah, see, that's out of sync. So now what you want to do is you want to click the hair. Click this wrench looking tool. Go to frame offset, and you want to kind of just type in numbers until it lines up. All right, for this one it was 5. And that looks good. Now we got hair motion. And we got jiggle physics. Hip hip hooray. Now, as always, you want to save it. And now we gotta export in the claw. So file, import, Alembic. Now we'll go to where we exported our stuff for Marvelous Designer. The scale for this doesn't matter as much because it's going to be off anyways. It's somewhere in Oblivion because it's just so large. That's probably why you can't see it. Import the top too. You see, it's like all the way up there. Now, what you want to do is you want to select this, hold shift, select the other one, click S for scale. And then you're just going to pull this in. If it gets too close, you can just click, zoom in, and then click S again. And then just kind of match it as best as you can by eye. See, that's why I left it on this this center point. So that way we know it's strictly just a scale. We don't have to like try to move it forward or backward or anything. Like only messing with the scale should be all we need to do to get it to fit correctly. And that looks about right. Now you just want to click save. And at this point, usually what I do is I haven't figured out a good way to keep all the textures. I usually don't use the textures from marvelous designer, so I'll just retexture it in Blender. For the hair, I've already have this model's hair. So what I'll usually do is, where was it? In this little window, I have a little custom properties. No, that's not it. Okay, so yeah, I just click new material. Where is it? Material library VSX. Yeah, there you go. And then I'll click Luna. That's this model's name. And in that folder, I already have like save material for the hair color that I use. But if you don't, it's still gonna. I'm gonna show you the. I guess just using the shader really. Luna hair. Apply to selected. And I'll just give it a quick little test. And that looks good. And this is just a look at the shader. Not really gonna go into that, but you get the idea. Usually you just want to apply your own materials in Blender. So I'm just gonna quickly maybe actually not quickly. I think I'm gonna pause, figure out the materials. But I mean actually, you know, at this point, if you made it this far, you're pretty much good. All you really gotta do is just put materials on there. You can use the Blender kit. Blender kit has a whole bunch of materials if you're not too familiar with the shaders, and sometimes you can just edit these pretty easy to get what you want. Yeah, at that point you're pretty much ready to just set up your cameras and then just start rendering. And so yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm trying to think if I left anything out. If I did, I'll just kind of add it on after this. But yeah, hope this tutorial was helpful. It's the whole kind of process. It's a little tedious. Still figuring out how to make things better. So if you got like any ideas or any things I like missed, feel free to just drop a comment, because I'm still learning all of this too. Like you'll see, it's not perfect. Like I don't know how to make the hair not kind of go through the clothing like that. And just kind of like smaller stuff. So let's all kind of figure this out together. But anyways, hope it was helpful. Until next time, bye.